Hello and welcome to Thyros Web Development Tips and Tutorials. In today's video, we are going to be working on this Frontend Mentor.io challenge, which is a chat app CSS illustration. So we're going to be building this whole page using Tailwind CSS. Let's get started. So I'm going to start challenge. You will have to be signed in with your GitHub account to be able to download it. So I say get started, download starter, save this file, let's open it. So here I have the design, desktop design, and the mobile design. We also have the image assets that are required. So note that we only have these images and everything else that's here has to be built using pure CSS. So this video will be divided into two parts. In this part 1, I will only be building this much. In the next video, we will be completing the whole page and making it responsive. So to get started with this, I have a Tailwind CSS starter kit on GitHub. This link is available in the description below. So if you don't have the time to set up and install Tailwind CSS from scratch, you can simply clone this repository and get started. So let me copy this, open terminal. I will cd into desktop right now and say git clone, paste the link that I copied and say chat app. So that's the directory I'm creating. This is cloned, so let me cd into chat app and open this in VS Code. So this gives us the public directory where we have our index.html and all our HTML content is going to go here. We have a distribution folder with a styles.css. This will be generated using Tailwind and this is linked with the index.html. Now let's begin a new project. So npm init -y with all the default options. I say npm install and this will make sure that it installs all the dependencies which are autoprefixer, postcss, tailwind and watch, which helps us in development. Now let's do npm run build once, and this uses postcss to take the styles.css from source directory and generate this styles.css within the distributed. So you can check here that this is now generated, and if you open index.html in the browser, you should be able to see a gradient on this. For that, let me install live server. You can do without this as well, but makes things easy for us. And now I'll say live server public folder. So this will open in the browser, and yes, if you see a beautiful gradient, then Tailwind CSS is successfully installed and set up. Now let's open the mobile design here. So this is what we're going to be cloning. Let me turn this also into a responsive mode. So we will be building this mobile illustration first. Let me put this side by side. Yes, and now let me do npm run watch. So what happens is whenever you make changes to this index.html, it will automatically build the styles for us. Yes, so this is happening, and let me just reduce it further. Okay, let me remove the h1 and we will be adding this. But before that, I always add class anti-aliased to my body. So if Tailwind IntelliSense plugin is not auto-completing your classes, you might have to reload the window once. Let's do that. Command pallet and reload window. And now it should suggest. Let me just try BG white. Yes. So that's happening. This is not needed for us. Now within the body, let's have a div, class bg white, width maybe about 48, height, the longest available is 96, let's do that, and rounded, this could be 2xl, and then shadow could be xl. Let's see what this gives us. So this is what we have now. Let's add this light gray background to our body so we're able to distinguish the mobile outline. BG gray 50. Yes, that does it. Now, since we want to center this, let me wrap this div around another div with flex and justify center and a padding top of about 16 maybe. So yes, the padding is almost right. Do we have PT14? Yes. So this is better. We obviously need a larger width and a larger height. So width, let me try 64. That's quite close. We could reduce it a little, but we might have to add custom configuration. So let's do that for the width and height, because height 96 is also not sufficient. Let's try out adding inline styles and see what width works for us. So 64 is 16 rem, so 15 rem could work for us, and then a height of about, this is 24 rem, so maybe 30 rem. So if this works, which is quite close, we need slightly larger height. So how does 31 rem look? That's perfect. So maybe we could remove the height later once we have all these layouts. Height could be auto. This is just for now, but the width is important. Oh, W60 is already available, so we don't have to customize it. And yes, so we have the outline ready, but as you see, we might need a little more rounded corners, so this could be rounded 3xl will do. The shadow seems to be fine. Now let's add this outline here that we see, the white outline, which would be border 4, border white. But to know that this is working, we need a background here which is not white anymore. We can have a light gray, BG gray 50. And yes, we have the background, but the border is too small. Is this border 8? Do we have border 8 in Tailwind? Yes. That's also slightly less. We might need a border 10 or a border 12, which is not available. So what we do is, now we add our customization here. So within extend, type border width. If you don't know the exact name, you can of course go into the documentation and check the property name that you need to add here. And let's say 10. We'll try with 10 first, and then that would be 10 pixels. Sorry, this doesn't come here. This has to be within the theme, right? So, and we need to do an npm run build once because we're not watching the config file. Now we should be able to add border 10 to this. Yes, that looks almost fine. Now is the time we need to add this entire div with a gradient. So within this mobile div, let's add another div with a BG gradient to right from This could probably be purple. From purple 600 to, let's see if it's pink. No, it's not pink. We'll have to take more colors from the extended color palette of Tailwind. We'll just do that in a minute. But for now, let's just add pink 500 with full, and then height could be about, say, 16 or 20. Let's see what this gives us. Yes, almost there. We just need to pick up a different color. So let's go to tailwindcss.com and search for color palette reference. So if you scroll down, this color, something like, yeah, this looks very close to fuchsia. So we will need to configure fuchsia. And the way we do that is we have to include this line first in our tailwind.config.js. So go there, paste this line, and then within the theme, within the extend, you can add colors, say fuchsia, colors.fuchsia. Okay, once again, npm run build, and we can use fuchsia. Let's see what this gives us. Yes, this is pretty close. Let's reduce the height a little. Would this be h16? Quite close. All right. We need to use the rounded corners for this div. On the top, we need a larger rounded corners, and at the bottom, we just need a very little. So for that, let's do rounded top to Excel, and then rounded bottom could be MD. Yes, okay. Let's add this white div now, which needs to be, we can add that here. So div class bg white, and then this would be mx auto, so which centers it, but we need the width of how much could that be? Maybe 28. Height could be, say, 6 or 4. What does that give us? Yeah, something similar. Slightly larger width, so that if it was 32 too much, 32 is almost fine. Let's add rounded corners to the bottom. That would be rounded bottom to XL. Pretty close. Let's make it XL. Yes, now we have that also. Let's continue building this, for which we need another div with flex right here. Div flex, and this would be one div and this another. So, and we could say justify between, so that the divs are stretched. And now you see we need this icon. We can take icons from anywhere. I would like to take it from hero icons. Go to hero icons, and we need vertical dots. So yes, dots vertical. Let's take the small one, copy JSX, and then add that here. And you'll obviously need some class text white, and then height of about, say, 4. So maybe 3. It's quite small. Yes, that should do. Of course, we need to give a height to this flex box and make items center. This height could be 12, and then items center. Sorry, item center. Yes. We can have some padding for this div, padding x in the x direction, maybe 4. 4 is too much. We'll do 3. Okay, that's perfect. Let's make this happen. For that, we need 3 divs again, and this is also another flex box with the caret chevron icon here. So go back to hero icons and search for chevron. We have a small chevron here, chevron left, copy JSX, put that here, and yes, this will again need a text white and a height of 3. Okay, that's good enough. Let's include the profile picture of this person next. This could be an image, and we need to copy the images that are already given by Frontend Mentor. So let's go to the images, actually copy the whole images folder and paste them onto desktop, public images. Okay, so images slash, we have the avatar.jpg. Let's give it a height 6, width 6, rounded full, and a border white. Border width of 1px, the class is just border, and then border white. Let's see what this gives us. Yes, this is almost fine. We again need an item center on this flexbox. So item center, and also a space. This should do. Maybe space x1. Space x1 is fine. And let's add the name here within another div. So P Samuel Green, another P with available to walk. This could be text small or even text XS because it's really small. And we don't have a text double XS, but we'll have to create that. And all of this is text white. We could obviously add this class top at the top, but let's keep it as it is for now. And text XS is font size 0.75 rem. What we might need is a font size of 0.6 rem. It's smaller than that, maybe 0.5 rem. And of course, we need an opacity of maybe 60 here. Yeah, this is in bold. Samuel Green is in bold, font bold. This should be fine. We might need a slight padding to the left, so we'll say PL1. Now the only thing needed is, let's move this inline style to tailwind.config.js. So we add this class XXS. The property to be used here is font size XXS, and that would be 0.6 rem. Save the file, npm run build. Yeah, so that works. Now this part is done. Let's move to the chat part. For that, we could add a div. This whole div could be flex. Let me close this up. Yeah, let me close this up. below this, let's add a flex div, flex column, and then space y, that is space in the vertical direction. This could be space y too. And now let's add the first chat box. This is probably a BG fuchsia 100, could be. Width could be 32, and then padding of about 2. Text could be, looks like purple, text purple, or maybe text fuchsia again, text fuchsia 700, and it's very small, text XS. Let's add the text here. That sounds great. We'll see what this looks like. Okay, the text is too small. Actually, triple XS should be 0.5 rem, right? And npm run build again. Yeah, that's that. We just need a padding for that parent div. So p2 and a rounded corner. So you notice there is rounded corners on all these three sides and not on the left. So for that, what we do is rounded SM and then rounded bottom left is none. Okay, maybe not SM, maybe MD. So let's add the same div once again. Now here, if you don't want to be repeating all of these styles, what we can do is we could extract this entire set of styles and put them in our style sheet in the source folder. This is where you put them. Call it chat box. And this is the one on the left, so call it chat box left. Paste all the styles with an apply directive. And here, just give it a class chat box left. Remember, we need to run npm run build because our styles.css has changed. And let's try and copy this, paste it again, see if this works. Yes, we just need to change the text. Could you send over some pictures of your dog, please? Now let's add these three images. Now this comes on the right within another div, which we can say self end, so that it'll be placed to the right. And let's add the three images. This itself is another flex box with space x3 maybe, and then images dog image 1 class rounded md, and of course a height of say 12, width 12. We'll see what this looks like. Pretty close, maybe h11 and w11, or 10 and 10. Yes, maybe rounded LG would do. That's more like it. 3 more images. Dog image 2, dog image 3. Yeah, we have it. A little bit less spacing, space x2. Okay, great. Now the next chat box on the right. Let me again close this up. Now for this, we could add a chat box right, and then copy this, paste it here. This is a BG white width is about the same, padding is same, text is not fuchsia here, it's probably gray, and everything is same except for rounded, BR none this time. And what's the text? Here are a few pictures. She's a happy girl. Okay. That didn't work. Why is that? We have to run build again. It's better to add this file also to watch. And this is supposed to be on the right. So in the end, we can say self end. Once again, build it. And this should work. Yes. There we go. And probably this has also a shadow. So shadow MD. Yes, that's about it. Add another div. Can you make it? So here, instead of W32, we could have a max width of 32, because in case the text is small, then it takes a smaller width here as well, but this is not needed. Anyway, let's still add it, but since max width 32 is not available in Tailwind, let's again customize it by saying max width 32 would be 8 rem. And let's add another chat box right with can you make it? Let's do npm run build and this should work. Yes, so since we added a max width, this fits in. That's amazing. Next, she looks so happy. Yeah, so this is again a chat box left. Let me add the text. Right, we have that. And then these two divs, which are not the same as chat box left. So let's add a div with class bg gradient. It's the same gradient, but this time it's to the left, starting from purple 600 to fuchsia 500 with the padding of say 3, but I think padding left is 2. And then here it's slightly larger in width, maybe W40. We'll see what this looks like. Almost there. Let's add the text, but this is again another flex box. So flex, and then justify between. This is the cost. Class font bold. And since all of this is text white, we could add that here. Font bold. I think this is text base. $29. No, it's not so big. Text small. And then 30-minute walk. This could be a span, inline block, width 3, height 3, border and border white with an opacity of say 50. I don't know, will this work? Of course, yes, and rounded full. That's good. And 30-minute walk. So PL3, padding left. Text XS. We could make this whole thing flexbox. The class flex again and space X 3 and justify start. We don't need this. Space x2. And now we only need an items center here. That fixes it. We just need rounded corners now. And also maybe the padding could be a little less. P2 overall. Rounded MD with a rounded bottom left none. All right, there we go. Let's just copy the same thing and make it a 1 hour walk and $49. Copy everything. I'm not going to extract classes here because we're just going to use it 2 times. So it doesn't make sense. 1 hour walk. And here comes $49. Yes, that does it. Let's just remove the height now that we added as inline styles. The only thing left now is to add this div here, which would be BG white. Flex again, padding 1, rounded, full, width full, and then text is probably a very light gray, text gray 400 maybe. This again will be justify center and items center. What does this give us? Oh, we have to remove this. We can just make it hedge auto or remove it altogether. All right, and we need a height here. So we gave W full, but we forgot to give the height. Height could be 4. No, height could be 8. We can hardly see it. So I think we could add this within the flex box. So probably at the end here. Yeah, that's better. Maybe it needs a slight shadow. Shadow SM. Yeah. And then a little more margin top. So margin MT1 or MT2. Doesn't that work? So if that doesn't work, we just need to add another div for which we add the padding. So PT2 and put this whole thing within that div. Just a little adjustment and remove margin here, and that does it. Okay, so the text here will be type a message. Which is of course very small. Text XS, text XXS, and text left. Or did we say justify center? We should say justify between. Let's add this into a paragraph so that we can give it a padding left of maybe 4. So that's great. Now we are left with adding this. So this would be a div class width 4 or say width 6, height 6. So BG dark purple, is it, or is it dark fuchsia? That's the closest we can get. Text white, rounded full of course, What does this give us? Yeah, pretty close. Then let's just get that same hero icon, copy JSX, and add that here with a class h3. That should do. No, h4. And then of course we need to center it. To center it, we could make this a flex box with justify center, item center. That's how you center anything, and that's it. So now you see, using Tailwind, we have completely recreated this mobile so easily. If you had to use classes for each of these, just imagine how difficult it would be. So congratulations. Now in the next video, which will be coming up in a couple of days, it'll be linked above here. You can find this. We'll be building the entire page and making it responsive. So try this out yourself and let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Hit a like and share this video ahead. If you enjoyed watching this, don't forget to subscribe below and turn on the notifications so you won't miss a single video from Tyrus.